What's up, guys? It's Bastian here coming at you with my updated black Gundam War deck. Still pushing the envelope on that aggro kind of build. Let me run you through it and see what you think about it. Starting with the units, we have two Zaku tanks. Just a bit of a card draw, really. Cheap chum blocker comes out. Obviously, you kind of just throw it against somebody attacking on Earth. It can't go to space. It's been errated. And just draw a card of it. That's pretty much what it does. You could potentially run 3 if you want to, but 2 is definitely a good little spot to be at. Running 3 gun tanks, and the reason for that is because I was looking for like a cheap shooting unit, because I'm running 3 of the high mobility Hizak, which gives a unit behind him also high mobility. So if you get this guy out turn 1, you get this guy out turn 2, on their own you can swing for 4 high mobility from turn 3 onwards. If your opponent doesn't have an answer to that, that 4 turn ping can be enough to win you the game. The Hizak is kind of like the centerpiece of the deck. We could call the deck Hizak High Mobility. Because realistically, being able to give another unit high mobility is really strong on its own. As you can see, our early game stuff pretty much all wants to go to Earth, although Zaku Tank is really just a chum blocker. You kind of want to see a Gun Tank too and a Hizak in your opening hand if you can. If you can't, then obviously we have some other cards to work with. So I'm going to leave Hizak down here for a bit. For space defense, particularly for that early game, we have 2 grips. 1, base, colony. Obviously can't go up to attack because it's a base, but it's a very strong defender. It comes into play in reroll status, so the turn you play it, you can already defend with it up in space. It's a neat little card. Doesn't really need much explanation. It's just there for defense. The next big stop in the deck is Asimar. We got this guy, and because first of all I love the art, a really cool art on this guy. 3/2/3 for a 2/3/2 card is not a bad stat, but it also can transform, can give itself high mobility, a little bit more value. This can be really cool if you sort of hit the Hizak gun tank and then Asimar. Asimar can transform, be at the bottom of the team, so you got now a force of 5 high mobility you can swing with. And if you got a character card on Asimar, it cannot be destroyed or damaged by card effects when a character card is set on. So that's also very cool when you transform Asimar. So again, just an efficient card there, really good if you do see it. The 2 card cost is a bit expensive, but we have 1 copy of Jupitris to make all our card costs 0. This is a really cool card. Also very good on defense. It's also good on offense because this is not a base, it's a colony. Colonies can go up to attack. It's a star 07 with supply, and it's a battleship, so you can play it as your second card that turn. If you play a unit, you can still play a battleship. So that's really cool. This is a really solid card. And also for defense, we run 2 copies of Kairas Jili. Really good on, really good on defense again. It's a star 3/5, which can be already good, although it's a base, so you can only defend. But it has wide range weapon 3 for 1, and it's got this cool effect that you defend, you can send him up to space even if nobody's coming at you in space. You can tap it and spend another 1 card, and you can redirect the wide range weapon to Earth. So for a tap and 2 cards, you can wide range weapon 3 to Earth, or just the 1 cost you can wide range weapon in space. That makes this card a really cool black card actually, and yeah, often underrated I suppose. The big hitters in the end, we have 2 copies of Masala. Masala's another unit that can transform into high mobility. star 2/5. And if you do transform Masala, you can tap it and pay 1 in the defense step, and when this card has a set on character card, give the same damage as its shooting point to one of your opponent's unit cards battling against this card. So you just get this extra little ping of, not even ping, it's like a fairly decent, like 2 damage effect as a minimum. If you got a pilot on it, maybe a 3, maybe a 4 even, depending what the pilot does. And that can make this Masala quite something your opponent needs to deal with. It's a problem. And finally, we have 1 copy of Umrabi. This is the top end of the deck. 2/5/2, obviously it's a 4/2/4 unit. Again, transformed. If it transforms, it gains high mobility and it becomes a 1/2/4, which is cool because even with a high mobility, you'd still get that 1 point of damage if he's at the front of the team, if you have all high mobility guys. And also, he can go to Earth and space both, which is definitely a big problem for this deck. In fact, I think besides this unit, all our other units are basically stuck to either go to Earth or space, depending what they got. But Hammurabi's effect, defense step, pay 1. When a character card is set on this card gets +2/+0 -2, so you can buff it to be a 6/2/2. That's of course if it's not transformed, but that's also really strong. It can be very heavy on the offense. So that's it for the units. Now moving on to the pilots characters, we have 2 copies of Rosamia Badam. She's really good because she will untap the unit she comes down to. The best sort of early game situation you can see is turn 1, you play Gun Tank, turn 2, it untaps, turn 2, you play Hizak, then you put Rosamia on Hizak, untap, and you're swinging in for 5 high mobility on Earth on turn 2. That's pretty strong. That needs answering, or the game runs away. So we got 2 copies of her. We also have 2 copies of Buran Blutark. Buran is a turn 3 play. But basically it really combos well with many of our units that have the transform effect. In the battle phase for 0, you can apply the transform effect if possible. Then the unit card cannot be the target of your opponent's unresolved effects. So this can be used in a cut-in situation and basically can stop certain card effects affecting your cards. Card effects that you can react to, like Wide Range Weapon or Psychomu. And we have 2 copies of RBO Pippin Eden, which also is a turn 3 unit, turn 3 pilot for our units. And it's got this cool little effect in the defense step. If you pay 1, when this card is in a squad of 2 or more unit cards, all the unit cards in the squad add preemptive attack or assault. You choose which one. And obviously with the assault, we're able to punch through, get some trample damage in, or preemptive attack, just like really first strike in our opponents, and we don't get anything hit back on us. So this is the pilot lineup. It's pretty sweet. And again, pilots in black, there are some good ones. These are some of them. None of these are rare either, so it should be fairly easy to get. On to commands, we have 3 Suicide Squad. No, not the new DC movie. This is a very usable pump. Gives any one of our units +3/+3/+3 without any timing. That's very powerful. But at the beginning of the return step, we have to destroy the unit that we pump. This is really cool if our opponent would like Wide Range Weapon one of our guys down, or Psychomu one of our guys down, for example. We just bring in a Suicide Squad. We make sure we swing with that unit, just basically pushing more damage through, as what this deck is trying to do, particularly with that card. Running 3 Assassinate, because removing characters is very strong. It's pretty much what black does, and being able to shoot a new type of a Psychomu unit is amazing. being able to shoot the pilot of any unit is generally amazing. So we got Assassinate here, and it's a full playset. Assassinate allows us to utilize Sound of the Crushing Life a little bit better. It's an expensive card with a 2-card cost, but actually in the resolution step we can destroy 1 unit card in a battle area, Earth or space, with no character card set on. So if we can play an Assassinate, which has an any timing, then in the resolution step we can Crushing Life and just basically straight up remove a unit from our opponent's side. That's really strong, really strong. And then operations. I really like Bad Maintenance. It's such a nasty card. If our opponent doesn't run any operation removals in their deck, then, well, that already hurts. Bad Maintenance is a very inexpensive card. Taps down the unit. We put this on, obviously you want to put this on your opponent's unit, taps it down, and every time in the reroll phase they have to pay 5 if they want to untap the unit that has Bad Maintenance. There's a couple of outs to this. Obviously you can supply your units, for example, or you can, basically play a pilot on that unit. If it doesn't have any pilot on it, that allows it to untap for that like one big swing. So there are ways around it. You can also remove the operation, but if you get your opponent just to pay you once, this card has already done its job, so that's pretty cool. And then one card I found to be, I don't know, I thought is a really cool card that, we can stop any attacker to have to send out more than one card to attack with, to sort of like stop situations when our opponents just like trying to like bring out the Andrew Walfield's Lego, for example, on its own, or bring out that if they have like one unit with high mobility that we just can't react to, or just that one unit with wide range weapon, we're kind of making their life a bit more difficult. But because it's a symmetric effect and it also hits us, it actually cost me 1 game during play testing. I just could not send out the one attacker I had, and it's really a situational card. Only play it wisely. We only have the one in here for that very reason. And as usual, I have 13 generation cards, and I say this every time. I wish these cards did a bit more, but that's about it. So this is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and let me know what you think of this deck.